Hey everybody, and thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Gender Wars. How you doing today, Sheldon?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I had a bit of a long week, but took out some time this weekend to kind of refresh myself, engage in some activities that really, really make me happy. So I'm in higher spirits today, so I'm happy about that. I'm really excited to be returning to Slice Studios to record another episode of Gender Wars. How y'all been doing, chatters? Some of y'all have been hitting me up outside of this saying you're excited about the show and everything, so I always love the positive feedback.
I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me about Gender Wars also. Different questions, crazy questions, comments, feedback. People really like the show, and they're tuning in. Our viewers are growing. I'm really happy about it.
Definitely.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. So hopefully we keep it up. We always appreciate your support, your feedback, your reposting.
Absolutely.
While we're talking about reposting, make sure you repost right now and tell people you are watching Gender Wars live on SNBTV.com with Kandee and Sheldon.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you who don't know what we do here on Gender Wars, it's basically you make the show. You write in, you call in to us with something you need advice on, something you want us to discuss as a group, and then we kind of just all go in. Mine from a female perspective, his from a male perspective, and
yes,
yeah. Sometimes we go to war, and other times it's just calm, friendly, loving, all of that good stuff. So, all right. So, are we ready to get started?
Yes, we are.
Shout out to E Negro. Shout out to Miss Maikila. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Make sure if you're just joining us, put your name in the chat, say hello so we can give you a shout out during the show.
That's right. And the phone number is at the bottom of the screen, so feel free to use that number and give us a call. We also have an email address, advice@snbtv.com. You can send in emails. There's a lot of ways to reach us.
Yes, sir. Okay, we ready?
Yes.
Do you want me to start?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I have a couple viewer submitted emails. Let me see. They're from two different topics, so two different areas that we can talk about, so I think that's pretty nice. The first one is from a Christina D. Thank you for watching and writing in, Christina. She says, "Hey guys, I love the show. I notice you don't talk about school much, but I want to see if you'd be willing to give advice to someone who's starting their first year of college.
Oh my. What
should I expect? What should I avoid? Etc." And second question, if either of you went to college, is there anything you wish you could change about if there was one thing you could change about your freshman year, what would it be? Thanks in advance, Christina D.
Christina.
Hey, girl. Okay, so this is a different topic than we normally address, but I do appreciate it because it brings diversity to our show. Anybody who's been to college or has a relative or something who's preparing for it and everything, feel free to chime in.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like you almost have to break it down. I always say this. This is going to be like my line of the season. You have to break it down into categories or be more specific. But in general, I would say, what did I say? This is your opportunity to kind of redefine who you want to be as a person. If you were that person in school who got overlooked in high school, you can now be the outgoing person that you always wanted to be. If you were known as the band geek, you can now be, into a different crowd, the party scene. Like, you can really create yourself, your own image, and your own group, your everything.
Starting
that you want.
fresh.
Yes, it's a fresh start for yourself.
Yeah.
Freshman. So definitely take full advantage of that. If there's anything you want to start fresh with, definitely take this as an opportunity to do so.
My brother just graduated from high school, my younger brother, and he is about to be a freshman. And, I let him know that I feel like, these are very, very important years for him. And the decisions he makes now in the next couple of years are really going to shape. I'm not saying that he's going to be stuck, but it's really going to shape how his future goes. I mean, he really feel like high school is like the base foundation. As he starts to get into the college life, I feel like he can make a lot of really good decisions right now that'll set him up or a lot of poor decisions
Yeah.
that'll kind of slow him down. So most definitely these are important times for you, Christina.
Yes. As far as what you should expect, kind of, I don't know. In some ways, to me, college was a lot like high school, and how people kind of find their cliques after they're done scrambling around campus and trying new things. They kind of get to their cliques and want to stay in the same groups and everything. But at the same time, it's still a bit more open and more opportunity for you with that. And you should expect for people to kind of be tugging at you at different ways and kind of making you choose sides. It does sound really high school, but it does. Once people kind of find their lane again, they just get comfortable with that and kind of want that. But it's so much out there that you can be involved in. A lot of people want you to just get involved with different things, and everybody wants to kind of network and everything. So be expecting of that. Freshman year, work-wise, I would say expect for me, it was a light load because I took college prep courses in high school. But for the average person, I think it was a gradual kind of. It started out really, really easy, and then around finals time, everybody was kind of freaking out. So I would expect that. And I would expect the party life to come about. A lot of people say there are designated party schools and everything, but any school to me can be a party school.
Sure.
It's Thursdays, Fridays through, pretty much almost Wednesday through Sunday, people are partying and stuff. So just be expecting of that. If you want to be that type of person who goes out every night, great, but don't get too caught up in that if the social environment isn't what you're really at school for, because it's easy to get caught up with it and really slip off with it.
One of our chatters, Negro, says, stay grounded and don't get so caught up in the various social scenes. Remember what you're there for. I agree with that completely. I feel like with a lot of young people, they're getting a taste of freedom if they come from both of their parents, and even one parent in the home. Wherever you're coming from, I feel like if you're moving away and you're going to be on a new campus, new place where you live, you're probably going to have more freedom than what you had before. And some people can handle that. Some people cannot handle that. So I would say really, mentally prepare yourself for all that freedom and have some self-control.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
you went to school. You went to college. I did not. So I don't have the traditional, what society would say traditional of after high school, go to college, I kind of did things kind of backwards and scrambled. But she did ask if we both went to school, so I felt like I wanted to answer that question. But you, I feel like, did have more of a traditional route.
Yeah.
What regrets? She asked about regrets. What regrets do you have?
Okay. I'm going to jump up to the top just because Inegro just touched on what I was going to say up in the top, and then I'll answer the second.
Yeah.
As far as what you should avoid, I was just going to say it and then saw Inegro typed it. He said, for a woman, beware of the upperclassmen because they prey on fresh meat. And I will say from experience, my freshman and sophomore year, heavy with dudes trying to talk to me, get my number, and multiple trying to get me to their dorm rooms and apartments.
For what?
So
to study?
One of them told me, and I quote, I walked by your room. It looks really nice. I was hoping you could come to mine and help me decorate.
Oh, my.
So anything, I know that I was going kind of crazy. I was feeling some type of way because I was like, I've never had so many men pay attention to me in my life like this, because it was literally the first 48 hours I was on campus, 4 dudes had given me their numbers. 4 men. Yeah. And I was just like, what is going on? I don't feel like sophomore year especially, I was like, I don't feel like I look any different. Like I was hanging with the same people. Like I'm in the same dorm. What's going on? And pretty much everybody's kind of just testing the waters and see what they can get into. And I would say avoid that, protect yourself. Did that line work on you? No, not at all. None of them came back to the room. I didn't go to any of theirs. I barely talked to men in college. So and that helped me, honestly. I didn't get caught up in all the drama because of that. So I didn't. How did you avoid that? I mean, that's going to help Christina. I feel like that line would work on Christina. Well, shut up. For like a year and a half of some of my college experience, I was actually in a relationship. So obviously, don't cheat, don't do anything you're not supposed to do, and you stay clear of that. But for when I was single, because I was also probably single for more time than I was in a relationship, I just kind of focused on hanging with my friends, even the ones who were in relationships. There was enough of us around to where I still had a couple single friends to when everybody had couples night, we could have our own little singles night and watch a movie together and everything. Or if none of them were available, rather than texting a dude or saying, hey, let's get into this, I would just have a Netflix marathon or something in my dorm room. Like, I really made it a point to stay away from the dudes just because it didn't make me feel comfortable how aggressive they would be and how just forward they would be with trying to get me to come to their rooms. One dude gave me his number and was like, you need to text me tonight. Tonight. I'm not playing with you tonight.
Yeah.
I was just like, excuse me, are you serious right now? Obviously, he didn't get a text message because I'm not doing it. Boy, please.
Well, listen, some girls like a little bit of assertiveness.
No, and you girls are the ones who will get ran through all through your college experience. I'm not playing with that. No. Okay. No, not at all. I like a man who can take control, and I feel like I need that because I have a stronger personality. But there's a line where there's just too much. You don't need to do all that.
Okay.
You really don't. And especially the way he was just approached me and everything, just interrupted my lunch when just everything about the situation was horrible. So yeah, but that's what I want you to avoid. Now, as far as somebody who went to college and you said if there's one thing I could change.
Well, hold on. Let me before you get on that.
Okay.
Let me just say hello to the chat room, people. I see you all filing in. We are glad to have you here.
Hey, Bridget B.
We had a email sent in from a viewer asking about her freshman year in college, so we're going to be talking about we're going to be answering some of her questions. Feel free to jump in the chat room, say hello to us. You can call in or just say hello, just
Yes,
give us a hello. But that's what we're talking about.
Yes, and I know for a fact some of you, because you're regulars, have been in college and everything, so you need to be writing in the comments your tips to people too.
Teach these chicks how to not get ran through.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you said you tried to avoid.
I did try to avoid that.
Do you mean try as in you tried?
I successfully avoided that, sir. Don't play with me.
I mean, let the viewers know. Let the viewers know.
It didn't take much effort. I just drew the line and was like, I'm not going to put up with that. As soon as they gave me a number, it would go in the trash. If they asked for my number, like when they text me initially to do the exchange, if I wasn't feeling the first conversation, you didn't get a response after that. I don't know. I've always had this attitude where it's like, yes, I want a lovey-dovey relationship and to talk to men and all this other stuff, but I just have low tolerance for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to put myself in a situation that's going to compromise me or make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Bridget B also agrees, saying, how to avoid getting ran through, stay in the books.
Stay in the books. Okay.
Okay.
She don't mean Facebook, does she? She means the actual books.
Yes.
The actual books, folks.
Yes, of course.
I'm trying to help these people. We're helping these people.
Hopefully they have more sense than what you're giving them. They are going to be freshmen in college.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm just going to take a second because I completely ripped out my...
That's fine. Yeah, I would agree. Stay in the book. I mean, really just stay focused. Listen, I was telling my brother just yesterday, I said, college is so expensive no matter where you go. Like, at least make your studies a priority. And this is my brother, so he's kind of on the other side of the coin where he's going to be preying on, chicks. He's going to be chicks galore. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, dudes, you need to watch out too, because this is around the same time where a lot of girls get knocked up.
Oh my.
Because a lot of girls, by the time I graduated, most of the girls 90% of the girls who were in my classes with me were either engaged, had a baby, or getting married. So I feel like a lot of girls at that age are kind of in that mindset. I'm going to find the man of my dreams and stuff during college. We're going to date all through college and get married and everything. They start sleeping around, make babies and all that. So to your brother and to all the other young men out there, don't act stupid, because everybody's testing the waters. Everybody's experimenting. Everybody's seeing what they like, who they like, what they want in life. And it can just get messy. So especially just don't create a baby in the process.
We're gonna have Christina like she gonna drop out before she starts.
Right, girl.
She gonna be like, oh no.
It's honestly not that bad. I do feel like you'll enjoy it. Your freshman year will probably be the most memorable.
Okay, so let's talk about regrets. What regrets do you have?
I would say my only real regret that I have is that I didn't look more into my major. Closer to the earlier years. Freshman year, you kind of take prereqs or general studies, so it's not like you get to full exposure to what your courses are going to be like. But I feel like I got enough exposure to see that how repetitive my program was going to be and all of that, and I wish I would have kind of paid attention to that, and at that point decided to go undeclared. I think it is undeclared, and or just switch it up. Because I did have friends who were like photography majors. I did have, some people that I knew that went into graphic design. And both of those things were things that I was really interested at the time. But I just was like, let me stick with what I got some high school experience with and what's traditional and all that good stuff. And I'm going to be a teacher. But by senior year, I was just miserable. So if there's one thing I wish I would have changed, is freshman year either went undeclared into school altogether and figured it out, or just put more thought into it to switch it up.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'll get back to that in a second. Bridget put in here, wrap it up before you have to pack it up. Okay. Then Negro put in, wrap it up even when you back it up. I feel like I gotta match them. Here's one for both of y'all. You gotta wrap it before you tap it. Okay. All right. Top that, y'all. Okay. Now back to you. So you said focus on the major, or I guess you can be undeclared.
Yes.
And then just kind of go until you figure out something.
Right. There's only a certain amount of time, because otherwise you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, because there are only so many general studies you can take as an undeclared person in college. But
the thing that I see the most, because I have a lot of professional friends who are about my age, people are starting their careers, or a year or two in their careers, and a lot of them have majors in something that they're not even working in. And I feel like, what was the point?
Right.
I mean, yes, you have a college degree. You can walk proud and say, I graduated from college. But some of my friends are just open with it, and they'll say, this degree, yes, it may be separated me to get this job that I have, but it's not going to help me get promoted. It's not going to help me have a top level. I'll have to go to school again.
Right.
And that's so discouraging to them, and even for me to hear. It's just like, who wants to go through that?
I'm thankful for my job, because I don't teach like traditional type of teaching, classroom teaching, but I still work with the youth. But it's just like I could have worked the same job, honestly, and had the same skills and, been okay. Yeah. I didn't have to have all that time in college. And for me, honestly, not saying that I was born a teacher or anything, but I do feel like I didn't learn how to be a teacher. I was naturally somebody who can work with kids and teach. They just kind of teach you how to follow state standards and grade level expectations and all that stuff. And I didn't feel like I gained much, because I'm like, I learned how to match up these and write a traditional lesson plan, but outside of that, I already knew how to do all this stuff. Like my teaching strategies from freshman year to senior year, I grew and got more confident and comfortable and trying new things. But for the most part, I was the same person, just because I'm like, I just naturally knew how to work with people and direct a classroom. So definitely just make sure whatever you're going towards is cut out for you.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to be one of those people who gets to the 4-year mark, finds out you don't want to do what you want to do, what you went for, and then 2-3 you have to have another 2-3 years. You never want to be in that type of situation, because it's terrible.
Terrible. I agree.
For someone who didn't go the traditional route, do you have any advice to anybody who also isn't going the traditional route and kind of doesn't know where to go in their life? Just because I know in high school they push college, but they don't really push other alternatives. So do you have any advice to the people who aren't going to college, like how to get their foot in the door somewhere, things like that?
Absolutely. What guided me was happiness. I wanted to make sure I was always chasing this idea that I want to be ultimately happy. I wanted to be completely happy with what I was doing. I do feel like you're going to have to show that you have some type of skill with whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you do want to be a professional photographer, if you want to be, I don't know, if you want to bake cakes or whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to have some type of skill. I do think that with me having a background in corporate and business, experience is a whole lot. It's actually, people look at experience just as much as they look at college graduate. Mm-hmm. And people don't really speak on that a lot. But if you have a lot of experience, and if you can show proof that you have been doing what you want to do for a long time, even if it's for yourself, that actually speaks a lot. Mm-hmm. I would just say whatever it is that you want to do, you need to make sure you're fully invested in it, and you need to, really double down on the thing that you want to do. For me, it was media and video and production, and so I really spent years learning and doing freebies and really giving it my all. And it's what made me happy, so it's not a problem. You really have to be ready to grind hard. Don't expect a lot of support, because I think society, again, says if you don't graduate from high school and then if you don't graduate from college, you're less than. So you will be up against that for those people that kind of want to go your own way. I did go the entrepreneur way, but I did score some really big jobs. Mm-hmm. But I was hustling, and you really have to be ready to fight, be ready to work. You have to be able to prove yourself. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Those are all things that I feel like I did and have worked for me. It's really ironic. Two of my friends who have very impressive degrees were kind of pushed into going to college. They kind of wanted to take the entrepreneur route that I went. Mm-hmm. I don't knock them for going their route. But they have really, really good jobs. And if you're just comparing money, I make way more money than they do. Mm. And it just goes to show you, and this is really a response to society. It really does show you, if you work hard, if you are focused, if you, there is some, I don't want to say luck, but you do have to, some of your decisions are gambles. And you kind of have to make a decision. It may be the right or wrong decision or whatever. But it does show you, just because you have a college degree does not mean you are automatically going to be rich. Uh-huh. I feel like if I would have had a college degree, I better be happy, And I don't see that every day. It's really,
it's almost, I feel like the opposite in most cases. Yeah. Just because a lot of people aren't in their field, and then they are also having to pay the debt for not being in their field too. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah.
But most people think that I'm going to be this type, since I didn't go to school, but I have a lot of success. People are automatically assume that I'm going to say, you don't have to go to school. You don't need school. When my brother asked me, he said, hey, you didn't go to college. Should I? I said, absolutely, you should. I'm looking at his personality. I'm looking at the type, I'm looking at all these things about him. Uh-huh. You probably would benefit from going to school. Right. And he hates school, but that doesn't matter. I think he would benefit from going to school. I think it's you got to really know you. Mm-hmm. And really early to make a decision like that.
Which is tough, because that's at a time, 18 and early 20s is when you are figuring yourself out. So you got to know yourself, but at the same time, that is a rough time for yourself too. It is. And I'm not saying I had it all figured out at that point, but you knew enough to kind of take enough. That leap.
Yeah. And I think you really, people really have to, even to this day, with me personally, people don't understand how much work I have to put into certain things to make things work. And when people are looking from the outside, things just look so easy. I was telling one of the guys I mentored today, it, you know, it looks really pretty from the other side. I mean, you know, it's that saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. You know, being an entrepreneur, it's a lot of times people don't see the grind. They don't see the hustle. It's a lot to it. And I feel like you're embracing your entrepreneur inside of you. And I think you're completely understanding the nonstop work that you have to put in that no one else will ever know.
Right.
And you got to kind of be ready for that. But yeah, that's my response. I think that turned into like a baby rant.
I don't think it was much of a rant, but hey. Yeah. Before we go to break, thank you to all the chatters for chiming in. Someone made a comment about me looking at my iPad, and they don't do that on television. Realize this is an internet television show that is run in studio by us also. So you're going to see some brand new things. If this is your first time viewing, which clearly it probably is, just kind of slide, let it ride, and just enjoy the show. With that said, we're going to go ahead and go to commercial break.
First of all, I'm supposed to be the one that talked bad on the commenters. You're supposed to be the sweet one.
She's directing it to me
as if I'm
being, or he is being completely disrespectful. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that was just a thing that a female would be bold enough to be like, shouldn't she be watching right now? And I feel
like you do need to give me your undivided attention.
But you're the one who I always have to beg to be off your phone usually. Anyway, to that viewer, yeah, we got this. But yeah, enjoy this brief commercial break.
We'll be right back, folks. Stay in the chat room.
Welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that commercial break. We had a lengthy talk about college during our first half, which I think was refreshing because, like our viewer, what's her name? Christina. Like she said, we don't usually touch on school topics, so I am happy that we got to get into a lengthy conversation about that. Again, we appreciate all the viewers who chimed in during the first half, and we are going to kick off our second half of Gender Wars.
That's right.
All right, you ready?
Yes. I want to say that there's a chat room. If you're watching on the homepage, jump over to the Watch Live page, and there's a chat room. You can chime in. You can say hello. Then there's a phone number at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to call in if you've got any responses to what we're talking about. Or if you have a topic you want us to touch on. Then there's also the email address advice@snbtv.com. This is a this is a viewer controlled show, so we need your feedback. And yes, you can really call in, Bridget, so make the call. Yes. We'll say hello to you.
Especially if you have a topic to give us, that would be amazing.
Yeah, just don't call and be like, hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, well, she did her little hey boo before, so yeah, you got that out the way. Don't call with that.
Definitely, you can call in and say what's up, and if you want to chime in on anything we already talked about, go right ahead.
All right, so I'm going to jump into this next email while you're looking for your phone to call. It's from an anonymous viewer.
Yeah.
And it reads, I've been close friends with a guy for 4 years now, but I would love to be more than just that.
Oh, my.
I think we're very compatible, and I could see us having a serious future together. But I've kept quiet about my feelings for him because I'm not sure if he feels the same way. He hasn't dated much since his last relationship ended a year ago, so it seems like a good time to tell him how I feel, but I'm worried about it changing our friendship. How can I figure out if he's interested in me without making things awkward or ruining what we already have?
Oh, my.
Okay. Do you want to start with this one?
Go right ahead.
I asked if you want to start with this one.
Fine, I'll start right with it. For 4 years. I mean, that's a long time. And that topic hasn't come up, or somebody hasn't made a move, or somebody hasn't said anything. That's a long time. It makes me feel like one of them is truly in the friend zone, like truly in, and it sounds like she is. Sweetheart.
Well, you don't know if he was in a relationship that whole time or something. So
I mean,
if that was the case, then I don't feel like she might not just come out and say hey, I know you're with somebody, but I really want to be with you. You know what I mean?
That's really hard because I could tell her what to do. Well, I'm not going to say tell her what to do. I could give advice and tell her to act on it, but I feel like I would want a chick to, if she was my daughter, I would be like, daughter, don't say nothing. Let the dude approach you.
Really?
Yeah, I would say don't say nothing.
She says she sees like they could be very compatible and have a serious future together.
She feels that way. You know how many people feel like, I feel like me and Beyonce are compatible and I could have a great relationship with her. Do you think that's going to happen?
She's being
or
realistic.
No?
She's being real. I'm just saying, I mean.
You don't know if she's being realistic. She could really be in love with the idea of being in love.
But her thing is, how does she even figure it out? Yes, she's not saying should I come out and tell him. She's saying, how do I find out if he's interested without making things awkward or ruining what we have? So how can she avoid, I guess?
There's no way. There's no magic solution to figure out if a guy likes you or not.
So there's no like slick way to come on to do
all
it or
she
something?
can do is say, hey, let's go out and grab some lunch. Hey, we've been friends for a while. Have you ever thought about dating me? I feel like that's the only way you can do it. But some guys will get completely turned off by that and will treat you different.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's when guys put listen, when a girl puts a guy in a friend zone, you're doing that because you don't want that with them. And normally the guy wants you and you're just like, no, you're over here. You and me can go get manicures or whatever guys in friend zones do with they chicks. When guys have a girl in a friend zone, they see him as a sister. You know, or I don't know. I feel like it'll really mess stuff up if who I'm looking at like as a sister. It's like, hey, have you ever thought about dating me? That would completely change how our friendship is.
Right.
Completely.
I understand.
And no, I'd be like, it would change everything for some dudes. Some dudes really get thrown off and don't know how to communicate what they're feeling. If they could communicate it, you could probably get past it. But dudes don't communicate in that way. Dudes would just rather be like, she like me, bro. I ain't messing with her. I ain't hanging out with her. She may try to kiss me or something. You know, and we kind of lock up with that type of thing.
Okay, well, Anonymous, it sounds like things are looking too good for you as a female.
Waiting for you. I mean, I guess you were friends for 4 years.
I've been in a situation where I've long time ago told my friend that I did like him, just because I feel like I needed that clear from my conscience.
How did it work?
It was fine. I mean, he wasn't expecting it, so it was definitely awkward. But he told me down the line, maybe a couple years later, that I kind of liked you too. So after that, it was just like, whoa, we talked about it. Like, what is all this? But yeah, we're still friends. One of my closest friends, and it's not like we've made out or anything. It's no extra ties or anything. But I feel like both of us, it's been good for us to just get how we felt out in the open. But understand that's because it was a mutual thing where it was both like, hey, I think I like you, so what? And honestly, that you sound like you want a relationship. That wasn't even just saying.
She sounds like she wants to get married to this dude.
Right. You want a relationship. I was just doing it because it was like, you know what, I've grown up around you a bit, and I just want you to know that I feel this way about you. It wasn't even like I want to be your girlfriend or anything. It was just really like, I really like you. So yeah, it could be in that type of situation, or I've also been in a situation where I've been kind of friend zone. Like, you are already there, but I feel like that did cause some kind of awkwardness. So not to the point where we lost touch or anything, but it's just like, I don't know. Like he said, people do kind of treat you differently or whatever.
They do.
So
chat room, what do you feel about this topic? How do you feel? Do you think my advice is the way she should go? Do you, I don't know, what was your advice? Mine,
if for me,
you say tell them.
I wouldn't if you feel any hint that it may be mutual, not something that you've made up in your head, but if you feel like in any way, the way he looks at you, the way he talks about you, if he talks about you like he really admires you, then go for it. Just throw it out there, not even put it in a way where it's like, I'm not expecting anything in return. I just want you to know how I feel. Leave it at that. He can decide to act on it, or it could just be a conversation that never happened. But if you feel like he's showing no attraction to you or any way, you need to just wake up and move on to a dude who's actually going to want you. Because I feel like that will cause awkwardness if you do come out and say that I want you and that's not returned. And especially with you two being close friends for so long, I would hate for you to lose that just because of what you hoped could have been that's not really there.
Right. Bridget says to tell him, clear your conscience, tell him. I'm not completely disagreeing with that, but the key is how. How do you tell a man something like that you've been best friends with, besties with for 4 years? I really do feel like a lady has to tread lightly because there's a very, very, very fine line between expressing how you feel and getting that off your conscience and completely turning off this dude or even want to be around you because he thought you was his baby sister. Like, I feel like there's a fine line, but
and I feel like honestly we know those separations between if somebody views you like as a sister and if someone views you as something else. Because honestly, looking at my friends, I can categorize them, just every single friend that I have, categorize them. Who's a best friend, who's just an associate, who's a close friend, who's somebody that I could have had something with, which isn't your typical friend, because it's like it could be something more. Like, you know in your head that type of relationship you have with somebody. I mean, with my friend who I hung out with this weekend, who's like my brother, like we could be hugging all on each other, not think anything of it. I mean, I'll kiss him on the cheek and everything and it's nothing, just because I know that's our friendship. But let it be a dude that I liked, I wouldn't have that same comfort in our friendship to do that, just because it's like, you know, it's just different. And I feel like you know the levels to your friendships.
Okay. If you do want to tell this, she's anonymous, right?
Anonymous, yeah. Okay.
If she does want to tell this person, the only way I feel like would work with me is if she says, hey, let's go grab some lunch or whatever. We sit down and says, hey, have you ever at any point ever, just a question, have you ever thought or saw yourself dating me? And see what the answer is. If the answer is like, no, I saw you as a sister, I saw you as like family, or something like that, then you better back away, backpedal, be like, oh, no, I'm not interested in you. It's just people see us hanging out, and people thought we were together.
That's what I would go to.
And lie to him. But don't confess your heart after he says something like that.
Right, definitely.
Because he's going to be like, check, please. And they're going to be like, is this together or separate? And he's going to be like, definitely separate. And he's going to pay his bill. And he's going to shake up out of there. That's what I would do.
Okay. Go ahead.
Amazing advice.
We have a lot of people in the chat room right now. Go ahead and make that call if you would like to, because we are wrapping up the show soon. Let me see if there's anything that catches my eye. It all depends on how strong and real the friendship is and what's most important to you.
Yeah.
The awkwardness and potential rejection of these situations can ruin an otherwise perfect friendship.
Perfectly put.
All right. Thank you, E-Negro, for your input with that. We definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, perfectly put.
And everybody who's kind of chiming in, Chan, we definitely appreciate you jumping in with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any closing thoughts you have on this?
On that particular topic? No, I feel like I think I've said it every single show since we've been going on. I really do think you can communicate this. You just really have to be careful. And when you put yourself in a vulnerable situation like that where you're getting ready to express yourself, you got to kind of be ready. You got to be ready for whatever. I do feel like, all jokes aside, I do feel like communicating wouldn't be a bad thing and saying, hey, I feel this way about you. But most chicks ain't ready to be rejected in that way.
Right, right.
You know, you're not just being rejected by just like a random dude. You're being rejected by somebody that's your close friend. And, you know, That's and I think it's vice versa. I think it'd be hard if the tables were turning, if it was a male trying to hook up with a close friend that was a female. So, I would say if you think he could handle it, if you think you could handle the possible rejection, go ahead and communicate it. But just be careful.
Right.
Don't come off like a secret lover.
Yeah. It sounds like this friendship is important to you. So definitely whatever it takes to keep that intact. Absolutely. I feel like that would be good for you because the way you talked about it sounded like he would be a missed addition to your life if he backed off any. So
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely tread lightly.
Yes.
All right. It's about time to wrap up the show.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have any callers, do we want to go ahead and start phasing out of this chat?
Yeah, I think so. Show. I was going to say show. Chat room, what did y'all think about today? Let me see you say what's up to me. Got quite a few people in there.
And while we're wrapping up the show, you can make your last minute call if you want to, but I do want to shout out our links to the show and to our website and everything. On Facebook, you can find us Slice Network.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter, we are SNBTV. On YouTube, we are also SNBTV.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you're on our website, SNBTV.com. Make sure you are up to date on Gender Wars and also Laugh Out Loud, which comes on every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a live comedy talk show.
Yeah, and last week was mega.
Off the chain.
Mega ratchet. Hilarious show last Monday. So tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. For LOL. And then there's new shows coming.
Right, definitely.
There's new shows coming.
Working on programming.
So I'll be excited about announcing some of those things.
Right.
But hey, this is Gender Wars.
Right. If you want to follow us outside of SNBTV, you can find this guy on Instagram, S_Neil. And on everything, I am Kandee Loves Ya. That's Kandee with 2 E's, Loves YA.
And I got to just say something for a second. After every show, you get like 4 or 5 or 10 new Instagram followers on your Instagram.
Are you tracking my follows
I don't ever get any Instagram followers, so I'm going to start saying my own. Go follow me on Instagram, S_NEAL. S_NEAL.
This dude is really taking down stats.
I'm getting tired of her getting new followers and I'm not. You need to follow me on Instagram.
You don't know if that's from this show.
I feel like it is, so I don't care.
It could be. I'm on every social media outlet. Like, people can find me anywhere and follow me on Instagram. Anyways, this isn't a conversation for the air.
Yeah.
Anyways, y'all. So with that said, we will see you all next week. Hope you join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with another episode of Gender Wars.
Take care.